Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot. For today's pick a card reading, we have a little bit more of a sunshiny positive topic, which as you can see by the title below is your next reason to smile. So this pick a card reading will really hone in on a message from Spirit that's all about something positive coming your way, something that will spark some hope, spark some happiness. I just wanted to focus on kind of a sunshiny reading for today. So without further ado, let us pick our piles. Over here on the left for pile number 1s, we have number 18, Spirals of Manifestation. For my pile number 2s in the middle, we have 11, Diving for Light. And for my pile number 3s, we have number 37, Focus on the Light. So just to reiterate, pile 1's Spirals of Manifestation, pile 2's Diving for Light, and pile 3's Focus on the Light. As always, feel free to pause, meditate a little bit more on the cards if you haven't decided which pile you would like read for you today yet. Otherwise, when you have decided, as always, the description box below contains the timestamps for the readings and also the top pinned comment beneath the video. Click on the timestamp for your reading and I will see you in our discussion in your reading about something that is your next reason to smile. Bye. Hello there, my lovely pile number 1s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today on the topic of your next reason to smile. As I discussed in the intro, this reading will be kind of more of a positive rainbows and sunshine type of reading, just something to uplift the spirit a little bit. And we'll focus on something happy, something positive coming your way. As you recall, the card used to pick your pile was number 18, Spirals of Manifestation. So just a really quick glimpse into the meaning of this card. Of course, I will expand more on it later when we get the other cards on the desk to give you the reading in tandem with all the messages kind of mixed together. But this card is about how oftentimes in life we come across the things that we're looking for, the things we're trying to manifest in unexpected ways. And that's where the imagery of the spiral comes in, because oftentimes in life, our paths aren't always, a to B, A to Z type straight line. Oftentimes it can be kind of messy. Oftentimes we can take steps backwards. Oftentimes we can take steps in zigzags even on the way to what we're trying to manifest. So that's kind of setting the tone for your reason to smile reading for today, okay? So we'll set your pile leader off to the left here, next to the pine cone as always. I do have your oracle cards I already drew, but then I also on camera want to draw your 5 tarot cards as always is the kind of the way I do it with my readings for those of you who have viewed me before. So, Spirit, for my lovely pile number 1s, could you give me 5 cards explaining more about their next reason to smile in tandem with the oracle cards I already drew? What's their next reason to smile? And also, if you can kind of expand on what's the context coming up to why this positive thing is coming their way, please. 5 cards, please. Okay, some want to pop out here. For sure. Okay, let's see. We have number 1. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, and let's see what else is calling your name pile number 1s. I feel like this one back here, number 5. Okay. Okay, so let's look at your oracle cards first as is custom. We have, first up today, the Folklore Oracle. For this particular deck you received the owl. Okay, so just quick, kind of like how I explained your pile leader, the owl in this particular deck means observation. Oftentimes it's associated with, traditionally like wisdom, knowledge, the goddess Athena in Greek mythology, right? And this particular deck, it talks about seeing things from different perspectives. It's almost kind of like, if you're familiar with tarot, the Hanged Man is like a really good card to emphasize what this particular oracle card means, okay? Especially because, owls can pivot their head almost, I don't think it's fully 360 degrees, but they can kind of look around. They're also known in many cultures as beings that can kind of connect to the supernatural world. They kind of see things for what they are. They're more mystical kind of animals related to or associated with seeing things very clearly, seeing things in ways that others cannot, okay? So we'll set your owl up here. Okay, next up we have the Woodland Wardens. You received the vulture and I believe it's pronounced the asphodel, or asphodel, Anyone in the comments, feel free to correct me. I might have butchered the pronunciation. But this card means upheaval, okay? Once again, this is a card that can be, if you're familiar with tarot, associated with the Tower card in tarot, which, you know, oftentimes people will say, oh, that's a scary card, blah, 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 blah. Really, no, though, is what it means is sometimes things need to come down to make way for room for better things to be paved in the future. That's basically the tarot card, or this particular card, the Vulture and the Asphodel, in a very quick summarized sentence, right? Okay, especially with vultures being associated with, we associate them with death, okay? Just because they're creatures that help in the ecosystem of nature, they help clear the old to make way for the new, so to speak. I won't, get into nitty-gritty details, but you kind of know what I mean, pile number ones. So a lot about birds today, too. I think there's even feathers here in your spirals of manifestation. They're very faint here. I'm not sure you can see them. But they're almost kind of coming off of the figure's arm. And there's even owls, too, on the tarot cards. So, a lot about birds today. I don't know if you've been seeing a lot of synchronicity with bird symbolism. Bird synchronicity, a lot of owls, maybe. A lot of birds of prey, I guess, is another way to describe a lot of the birds coming out. Anyways, your Nature's Whispers today is number 25. Keep your dreams alive. Okay. Kind of what it says on the tin. This is a card about not giving up your dreams. It's also about making practical plans for your dreams, okay? So maybe you've been going through a period of time recently where you've been really hard at work on something, trying to make a dream come alive. Maybe you're feeling like your efforts are a bit scattered, or you're not sure it will pay out. That might be kind of the context of the reading. As well as, of course, the other cards here about, seeing things from different perspectives. Things manifesting not quite in the way we expect. And, of course, the Vulture and the Asphodel being about change. Things being broken down to pave the way for better futures, right? So, and then let's put your tarot cards on the desk, and I'll talk about the full reading in tandem after that. So your first tarot card today is the Wide World. In traditional tarot, this is the World card. This, in the Major Arcana, represents the end of a cycle, okay? So there's a lot about change and ending of cycles here that's coming up in your reading. Okay. Particularly in this deck, it follows the journey of someone going through an enchanted forest, hence it's called the Forest of Enchantment Tarot. And this is like, okay, I'm out of the scary dark forest, or not scary necessarily, but I'm out of the mystical forest, and now there's a whole wide world in front of me. We're through a particular phase, okay? We're done with a particular phase, right? All right, card number 2, we have the Eight of Visions, which is the Eight of Cups. This is in reverse, okay? Eight of Cups is about moving on emotionally. Reverse is, it's almost like feeling like we can't move on emotionally from something, okay? Or feeling like we need to, but we're not quite at the point of being able to move emotionally past something. All right. Card number 3 for today is the Black Shuck, which is number 13 in tarot. Traditionally, this is the Death card reversed, okay? Kind of like I was just saying with the Vulture, representative of death, but in tarot and oracle cards in general, death is actually a positive symbol, okay? So don't run away from the reading being like, I wanted a sunshine happy reading and there's like death in here, but I'll talk about it more. But anyways, basically reversed, the Death card in tarot is all about there's some sort of end of a cycle that isn't quite at that point yet. So it's very common imagery coming up with your particular reading today. All right. Especially too with the Eight of Cups reversed, because that's like not being able to move on or feeling like we want to move on emotionally from something, but we can't quite yet. There's something holding us back just a little bit. And then, God, look at all the Major Arcana you have today. Okay. The Major Arcana here is the Fool, or well, it's called the White Heart, but it's the Fool reversed, okay? The Fool is the very first card in the tarot deck. Oftentimes what it means is setting out on a new journey, but reversed, it's being careful of the risks when we set out on a new venture, okay? Just like I was saying, this particular deck is like going through a mystical forest, and the end here you have the wide world. Oh, I'm past the scary forest, right? The whole world is in front of me. This is the opposite card of that, where this is the beginning of the forest, just catching a glimpse. But like I said, in reverse, the Fool is be careful of the risks when you set out on a new venture, okay? And then last but not least, you have, once again, you have a major arcana. So those of you who are familiar with my readings, I will always say, when I tend to see a lot of major arcana tarot cards in a reading, it in my experience, it tends to relate to a major life lesson that the querent or you is going through, okay? This particular card is the Emperor, the Forest Lord, reversed, okay? This is masculine energy in reverse, so usually masculine energy is, at least in tarot, is like logic, structure, power, that type of feeling, right? Because, you know, like the Emperor, think of an Emperor, you think of power, you think of authority, structure, right? Reverse, though, is it's saying either asking for more of that energy, that masculine energy, right? Or it's saying there's something in life that's feeling a little bit unstructured, something that feels like you don't have control over something. Almost kind of like the Chariot a little bit if you're familiar with that tarot card, but that's how I'm saying it. So pile number ones, okay. We have a lot of very similar cards. We have a lot of cards that are major arcana. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this is a major life lesson that this reading wants to speak to you about. Okay. Tying it back to, though, the original purpose of this reading, the next reason to make you smile, or the next reason to smile that's coming along your way. I'm just going to say right from the bat here, there seems to be, in terms of the context of where we're coming from here, recently in life, I think there's been something you've been searching for, okay? There's some sort of dream you've been reaching for, hence keep your dreams alive. There's something you've been wanting, hence, you know, spirals of manifestation, your pile leader that you chose your pile with today, okay? There's some sort of change you've been looking for, okay? You have the Vulture and the Asphodel, which is upheaval. That's like the tarot card, the Tower card in tarot. Okay, that's breaking down what was to make way for the new, like vultures do, right? They're carrion birds, right? And then also with your tarot cards here, we have a lot about changing cycles, a lot about the beginning and ends of cycles. I mean, you literally got in the major arcana of tarot, the Fool card, which is the beginning, and the World card, which is the end of the major arcana, right? So whatever it is you've been searching for, pile number ones, I think it's something to do with a major change in your life, okay? It's a major change you've been seeking. Trying to glean a little bit more specifics, of course, as a general reading, everyone's just going to be a little bit different. This is more of a collective reading, of course, but it's like you're trying to emotionally move on from something, okay? You're trying to start a new venture. You're trying to gain more control over your life with the authority of the Emperor reversed here, the Forest Lord, right? Making away with the old to pave the way for the new with the Vulture, like we talked about. And I think maybe some of the struggle you've been having coming up to this particular reading is, it seems like it's just not happening. It seems like I'm still stuck in this phase. I want this to end here with the World, but I can't emotionally move on. It feels like the phase isn't ending here with Death reversed, right? I feel like maybe there's too many risks, or maybe I'm not taking enough risks with the Fool reversed here, and I feel like I have no control. I feel like the universe has the reins and it's just saying, no, you're stuck. Okay, that's the context of this reading up to the future, which is the actual reason to smile, okay? So what I'm seeing here, though, pile number ones, the reason for you to smile, the positive thing on the way, a little glimpse of hope, right, is there's something you're not seeing. It's not your fault. But the reason I say that is because you have the Owl card, like I said, that's the card of, it's like the Hangman, it's observation, it's seeing things from different perspectives, okay? And also keep your dreams alive. That's about, yes, the journey is very hard. They're recognizing that the journey has been very hard, okay? It hasn't been sunshine and rainbows, it's no yellow brick road, right? But as long as you keep working at this change, okay? As long as you keep putting in the effort, as hard as it is, pile number ones, this is saying that whatever it is you're seeking will eventually come to you, okay? It's just that sometimes, and this is where your pile leader really comes in, because like I said, spiral is a manifestation here. I'll even pull it out so you can see it clear. This card is about the ways that we try to manifest things or create things or bring things into our life, the things that we want, the things that we desire, whatever. Like I said at the beginning, it's not always a simple straight line A to Z or A to B. Okay. Sometimes to move forward, we have to take a step back. Sometimes to move forward, we have to take a step to the side. Sometimes to move forward, we feel like we keep moving 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sometimes it's a zigzag. Sometimes it's a spiral. Sometimes it's a cycle, right? So I think the frustration that you might have coming to this reading, perhaps why you even came to the reading in the first place, is you feel like the thing I want to manifest, this change of a shift of my life, is not coming to me as fast or when I expect it to have come, right? And basically the reason to smile, if I were to do a punchline for this entire reading, or not a punchline because that means a joke, but like a summary, that's probably a better word, a more positive connotation, right? The summary of this reading is saying that the thing that you've been wanting, like I said, is coming to you. It's just that it's not going to manifest in the way that you expect, okay? It's not a straight, it's not like a gumball machine where you put in quarter and get candy out, okay? That's just not how the universe works, which I know sucks. I wish it did, you know? Sometimes when we put effort into things, it would be really nice if the exact amount of energy we put in comes back out. But unfortunately, that's just not how the universe works. Of course, we all know this as adults, but there's such a positive tint to this reading in saying that the universe, spirit, is recognizing the struggles you've been through. They understand. There's been upheaval here with your vulture and asphodel, right? They understand that things haven't been easy, straight A to B, A to Z lines. They understand that maybe the way hasn't been exactly clear there with the owl, right? Seeing things from different perspectives. Sometimes, you know, we don't have 360 vision like the universe or spirit does. We're humans stuck in, or not stuck, experiencing a human body incarnation, right? And, you know, our human meat brains don't always, I mean, we can't grasp things with as big of a picture view as the universe or spirit does. That's just what the human experience is about, is making our way through life as a human and not as an omnipotent spirit, right? That's just how it is. Okay, so tying this back into, like I said, you have a lot of major arcana here, and I always say in my readings where I get a lot of major arcana cards, usually this is a major life lesson, okay? I almost wonder if this is something that you've dealt with a lot throughout many of your incarnations here as a human, okay? If you believe in the reincarnation theory as I do, but it's also perhaps throughout your entire, this particular life, this particular incarnation, it feels like life just, you put effort in and nothing manifests in the way that you expect. Maybe it's like a recurring theme is a better way to describe that, okay? So, yes, the positive spin, though, the positive outcome, the reason to smile is that I believe this phase is finally coming to an end. You're going to be able to emotionally move on here with that Eight of Cups reversed. You're going to be able to switch that Death card up into upright and make it into the end of this phase that you've been kind of struggling through, okay? You're going to be able to start on a new adventure there with the Fool, okay? And you're going to feel like there's more structure to the universe because finally that sense will come about of, okay, I put in all this effort, the universe, I've been holding up my end of the bargain, and finally the universe responds and says, okay, here, this is how this will manifest, okay? It's just not in the way maybe you expected, maybe not in the time you expected, okay? Intuitively, I'm thinking for most of you, I almost feel like this is like a business idea that you've been struggling trying to get off the ground, or maybe some creative project you've been struggling kind of getting attention for in terms of like maybe social media or getting picked up, depending on like, I know with like writing with novels, sometimes, the grueling process of, hey agent, would you like to represent me? Hey editor, would you like to take my book on for your publishing company? That's a grueling process, okay? And sometimes it feels like it just doesn't make sense as to why your book isn't getting picked up because you're like, I think it fits the trends right now. I mean, not that you want to write specifically for trends, but oftentimes that does factor into how a book is sold, whether or not, the publishing company thinks it's marketable based on what the consumers are wanting at that time, right? Same thing with music, same thing with art, same thing with, insert ABC here, right? Okay. And, probably maybe it was even dinged your confidence a little bit, because you're thinking, well, is the thing that I'm trying to get off the ground, is the thing I'm trying to manifest, am I not worth it? Am I not talented as talented as I thought I was? Am I not as capable as I thought I was? And that's another part of this reading that is your next reason to smile, is that the universe is saying, no, you've been putting in all the effort that's been required, pile number ones, okay? And, that's not common in tarot readings. Oftentimes with tarot readings that I do for people, it's usually the universe saying, hey, you need to do ABC and then we'll talk. This reading is different, though, in that it's saying, you've already done ABC. I'm just kind of getting held up on my end, the universe, speaking as the narrator in this metaphorical example, right? But, yes. So that's the thing. Whatever it is you've been looking for, pile number ones, the thing you've really been trying to manifest, get off the ground, get going, it will manifest. Your dreams will come alive. It's just that it's taking more time than you're expecting. And it might not manifest exactly in the easy, straight line, A to Z path that you expected, right? Or that us as humans, we tend to think, well, put effort in, get energy out or thing out, right? Like the gumball machine example I used. But, and intuitively, another thing that's kind of coming up for me is I almost feel like the reason why it's been taking so long on the universe's end for you, pile number ones, is specifically with the Vulture and the Asphodel, the card that almost kind of represents, it's very similar to the Tower in tarot, right? And like I said, when I pulled that out, that particular card is about making way for the new by taking down the old, okay? Because, for example, let's say, you're in a neighborhood and there's a lot of really old buildings that are falling apart and are abandoned, okay? To make way for new housing and new families to move in or new businesses to move in, oftentimes, you have to actually deconstruct the old, abandoned, falling apart buildings that are probably ridden with, asbestos and lead or whatever, to make room for the new, right? Same thing with the example of the vulture, right? Old thing dies. Vulture eats, becomes a part of the ecosystem that feeds, okay? Or not just carrion birds like vultures, but, sometimes bugs are like that too. It's part of the life cycle. So sometimes the universe has to take time to let the old thing decay or be reinvested in the ecosystem, so to speak, to make room for the new, which is you, okay? Things like that. Another thing I'm almost intuitively hearing too is for those of you where this is maybe a job you've been looking for, maybe you've been on the job search a lot and you're kind of like, oh, why am I not getting hired? It's almost like, I don't know if you work in an industry where there's a lot of people that tend to retire really late, or they're just not retiring like they because of the economic struggle right now. I think everyone in the world is feeling the economy is a little bit of a struggle right now, right? Everyone feels that, right? I think it's almost like people are retiring as less, or not as young as they used to. And the issue with that is, and we don't begrudge those people because they need to make ends meet, of course. But sometimes what happens is that creates a ripple effect on younger people where there's not as many jobs open because more people are not retiring, okay? Whereas it used to be like the rate of people retiring maybe was more per year, was more close to the rate of people, entering that job industry or that job field, okay? So that's intuitively another thing. If you've been looking for a reason as to why maybe with a job search it's not been going well, it could be intuitively I'm being told is it's almost like it's not your fault. It's like you've been putting in the effort, pile number ones. It's just that there needs to be, for the perfect job coming for you next, there almost needs to be that tower moment of, okay, we're going to let go of the old energy to make way for the new energy. It's just, it hasn't gone through that process yet. And that's why it's been so hard, because it's like, I feel your struggle, pile number ones, where, it's like, and it's not even just like, And I don't mean this in like an older versus like, younger person type of thing, because, even, people that are higher in age are probably struggling with the same thing, where maybe they're looking for jobs, and, people in their own generation aren't retiring, and it's, and their companies are probably also cutting back on jobs at their company. They're really going down a skeleton crew, so to speak, because money's a bit of a pinch right now. So, the positive news, though, pile number ones, is that it's coming, okay? There's a place for you out there. A place for, if you are searching for a job, there's a job for you coming. You've been putting in the right work. If it's like a business idea you're trying to get off the ground, things will work out. Things will springboard. Okay. Things will grow. It's just, it might not manifest in the way or the time that you're expecting. Okay. But everything will be just fine. I do want to pull maybe maybe 3 last tarot cards, giving you some advice in this area, pile number ones, okay? Just to help kind of the wait until that next reason to smile, because, it's grueling, I assume, from the feeling I'm getting from this reading, okay? So Spirit, for my lovely pile number ones, could you give me 3 cards of advice for them on how to kind of work with this until the universe is able to kind of answer their prayer? Okay, 3 cards, please. Yeah, it's not you, pile number ones. If your self-esteem has been affected by this, it's not you, it's the universe, just things not working out quite in the way that you expected, okay? So I wouldn't, if your confidence has been kind of dinged, I would kind of see it as the universe saying it's not personal, okay? All right, so first we have the Ace of Spells, a spark of something new, especially in terms of creativity or willpower, okay? New energy. We have the Oldest One reversed, which is the Hierophant reversed. Yep, okay, that's kind of what I was saying about the old versus the new. And then we have the Keeper, which is the King of Boons, which is Pentacles. So King of Pentacles over here. Fantastic card to get in terms of career or business. This is literally one of the best cards you can get in terms of business or career. Right here. Okay, so this is going to be more of a reassuring piece of advice for you, pile number ones from Spirit, okay? The Ace of Wands, like I said over here, right off the bat, is the card of a spark of something new, okay? New creativity, new willpower, getting something new from the universe, okay? There's an ember coming your way. That's a great card or way to describe the Ace of Wands, as an ember, right? A spark of something. I would keep on the lookout for little sparks of things coming your way. Maybe not even looking for jobs or business ideas or ways to make your idea come off the ground in the traditional way. Try to see things from different perspectives, or go at it from a perspective you haven't tried before. Try something a little bit maybe avant-garde, something a little bit more unexpected, especially here with your owl. Earlier we talked about that's the card of different perspectives, right? There's something you haven't tried yet, okay? And that ties into, well, this might not manifest in the way that you're expecting with your pile leader here, okay? Especially too with the Hierophant reversed right next to it. That's the card of bucking tradition. Okay, that's saying we're going to get rid of the old way of doing something and we're going to try something new. That's literally what the Hierophant reversed means, okay? Try something new that you haven't tried before. Look in places where you might not expect a spark or an ember of opportunity, but there might be that, you just haven't seen yet. And then as reassurance, what Spirit is telling you, pile number ones, okay, the Keeper or the King of Pentacles or Boons here, literally that means the external mastery of physical security or the material world, okay? Success is coming. The job you're searching for is coming. The business idea you're trying to get off the ground, if that more pertains to you, is coming. Success with a creative endeavor, if that's what particularly applies to you, is coming, okay? That's a fantastic card to get in terms of the business world, in terms of money, in terms of success, okay? It's just that you might have to look a little bit of a different place than you're expecting, okay? Buck tradition, do things in a different way you haven't done before, or look for opportunities in places you haven't looked before, okay? The Hierophant can also mean reversed, is like that theme of, like I said, letting go of the old, like, maybe in that particular industry you're in, people just aren't retiring as much as they used to, or is at the age that they used to, maybe it's extending more because of the economy, okay? This is about just letting go of the old to make way for the new in terms of, letting, new energy come in. Okay. So that's kind of also another reassurance that if it's a job search, perhaps, that you're coming to this reading worried about pile number ones, the reason why the universe hasn't answered you yet is because of it needs to process the life paths of the people that, are maybe more at retirement age, to the point where like they'll finally retire. Maybe something will come their way and then they're like, okay, I can retire now. And then that makes a way for a new job for you, pile number ones, things like that. Okay. So just be reassured, whatever it is you've been worrying about in terms of manifesting, it's coming your way. It just might not come the way you're expecting, but just know that, you've got really good signs here coming for success in this area. Okay. So as always, pile number ones, to summarize, your reason to smile is the thing you've been searching for in terms of the business world or physical security will come to you. Okay? That's your next reason to smile. So I hope that reading was helpful for you. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, pile number ones, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Okay? All right, bye. Hello there, my lovely pile number twos. Welcome to your pick a card reading today on the topic of your next reason to smile, the Sunshine Happy reading for today. As you recall, the card you used to pick your pile was number 11, Diving for Light. I like to kind of explore the pile leader just a little bit before we move on to the other cards. So explaining this card in a nutshell basically means it's emblematic of a time of diving deeper through darkness to find light. Okay. Oftentimes, like if you were to picture yourself diving into the ocean, right? And of course, the further down you go, the further it's harder for light to reach from the sun's rays through the water, right? Deep, deep, deep ocean, as we know, is basically pitch black. And so this card talks about going through times of darkness to find light, just as like you would if you were diving for light in the ocean, hence a lot of the ocean imagery here. Okay. Lovely card. So we'll set that off next to the pine cone as always, where we always put your pile leaders in the readings we do. We have your oracle cards I already drew, and then on camera I also want to draw your tarot cards for today. So Spirit, for my lovely pile number twos, could you give me 5 cards explaining more about their next reason to smile, expanding on what this is, what's the context leading up to it, maybe the darkness they've been diving through to find the light, some context on how they came to this reading, right? All right, 5 cards, please. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. Definitely that one. 1, 2. I feel like this one up here, 3. And that one, 4. Right here, 5. Okay. Okay, first we'll look at your oracle cards. So, we have the Folklore Oracle here first. Your Folklore Oracle for today is the Maple Tree. So just on the tin, really quick explanation of the Maple card in this deck is all about change and being strong enough to weather change, okay? Also the beauty of change. Especially if you live in an area with maple trees and 4 seasons, maple trees are really beautiful in the fall. So there's a lot of beauty in the process of change through the universe, through our lives. Okay, even if it seems a little bit tumultuous at the time, a little bit chaotic, there's a lot of beauty in chaos and change. Okay. Maybe that's part of the darkness we talked about with your pile leader. Maybe a lot of change in your life recently, we'll see. All right, next we have the Woodland Wardens. Your animal and plant is the Bobcat and Blackthorn. This is the card of patience, okay? Really quick, the Bobcat is a card of patience. It's a hunter, right? This is a cat who blends into its surroundings and waits for prey to come by and then springs, okay? Being patient for things. Same thing with Blackthorn. This particular plant, to my understanding, is more fruitful when a harder winter is coming, okay? So it's almost, another subtitle I would give for this card is like preparation, right? Being patient. Okay, a lot of times berries get sweeter after the first frost, so it's almost like things becoming sweeter after a time of hardship is another symbolism of this card, okay? All right, and then, oopsie, I'm going to actually put your tarot cards down here for a second while I set the oracle cards out on the deck for you, or the desk, I should say. I mix up deck and desk. All right, and then we have the Nature's Whispers Oracle. Ooh, lovely. Number 13, Renewal of Peace. Yes. We'll see what your tarot cards say, but intuitively I'm already kind of seeing a theme here, pile twos. Maybe you've been going through a lot of change and chaos recently, and your reason to smile is that peace is coming. There's going to be a shift from a time of lots of chaotic energy, things kind of wrestling around, feeling like you're being strung along for the chaotic ride that is life. And then things settling down and having time for peace. Okay. So, just maybe some patience on the way there. All right, and then let's look at your tarot cards to get more context, my lovely pile twos. All right, so card number 1 here is the Three of Visions, which is the Three of Cups. Okay, this is the card of gathering, social groups, celebrations, sometimes it can mean. All right. Number 2, we have the Five of Visions, another Cups. Five of Visions reversed is, or Five of Cups reversed, I should say, is moving on from grief or a time of sorrow, moving past a time of sorrow, recovering from grief, sadness, depression, sometimes it can even mean. Okay. Number 3, we have another Cups. A lot of water cards today, pile number 2. Even your Diving for Light has that ocean imagery, right? I don't know if you're a water sign, or maybe a lot of like water synchronicity has been coming up for you, like water animals. We'll see. A lot of frogs too. You have a frog in the Five of Visions, and you have a frog here in your Renewal of Peace. Of course, there's other animals too, but interesting, water. So anyways, the Six of Cups reversed. Okay, usually this means the card of childhood, nostalgia. Reversed, it's almost a feeling of, it can mean immaturity as a negative connotation, or sometimes it can even mean asking you to tap into more inner child energy more, okay? Letting go of the jadedness of being an adult sometimes, and believing in magic again, okay? So card number 4, the Two of Spells. Okay, we have a fire card here. This is the Two of Wands, making plans for the future. That's what the Two of Wands means. What die should I cast? What path should I take? All right, and last but not least, your, this is the, I believe this is the Chariot in this particular deck. It's called the Fairy Wind, but it's the Chariot, right? Reversed, it's the feeling of, because typically the Chariot means I have the reins, I have control over the horses that are guiding my path. Reversed, it's things feel a little bit chaotic. Things are a little bit windy. I'm getting battered around by the wind a little bit. Which ties in a lot, too, with, you know, we said with the maple is, like, the beauty of change or weathering through change, okay? And the darkness we talked about with Diving for Light, finding light in the darkness. Some things might feel a little bit chaotic right now. Maybe things feel a little bit scarce with the Bobcat and Blackthorn, okay? So, okay, in totality, pile number 2 is, I'm actually going to take a drink really quick. Sorry. I got a scratchy voice today. I should have some honey in my throat, but anyways, okay. Pile number 2s. There is, recently leading up to this reading, okay, I feel that there's been a time of a lot of chaos in your life, a lot of change, okay, maybe a little bit of darkness too. And the reason I say that is because not only do we have Diving for Light, which is about finding light, diving through darkness, okay, through, like, you know, the imagery of, you know, we dove through the ocean, it gets darker the farther you go down. But maybe you find a pearl at the bottom right, little speck of light. You also have the Chariot reversed, which is about, things are a little chaotic right now. I don't feel like I have the reins on life, okay? Or the reins of life are being taken from me a little bit. And then you have the maple, which, like I said, is a card of weathering through change, the beauty of change, okay? Being able to handle harder times. You know, maybe you've fallen on times of more economic insecurity recently, especially, like I said this to pile number 1s. Everyone in the world right now, the economy isn't maybe the best thing in the world, okay? We're feeling the ripple effects and the aftershocks of, you know, the pandemic, for example, and, you know, the economic effects from that, war, things like that, of course. And that affects the world, you know, we're all kind of on this boat together, and you know, when the boat rocks in one area, it creates the waves that affect our boats, right? So, yes. Just know that you're not alone in that, of course, right now in the world. But Spirit is saying it's acknowledging this time of hardship has been, they're recognizing that for you, pile number 2, is kind of as the context leading up to the reason to make you smile here. Okay, we'll get to that, the happy part, right? But I just want to give you context, right? So, things have been chaotic, you know, especially with the Bobcat and the Blackthorn. That's the card of being patient, okay? Blackthorn, like I said, are berries that they grow more abundant before a hard winter, okay? Yep, and even with the example of the maple tree, in the particular book for this oracle deck, it talked about, there was, I believe it's a Native American story. Unfortunately, the author, I don't think he said the particular tribe. It might just be one that's shared amongst a lot of tribes, at least in the Great Lakes region. But it's a story about a woman who was looking for food, and the maple tree called out to her, and because she had made offerings, the maple tree said to her, well, here, you can have some of my sap, okay, maple syrup, right? And so the story behind that is basically like being assured that there is plenty or enough coming in times of hardship, okay? So maybe that's been your worry recently, pile number 2, is you've been through this time of darkness, you've been like, I don't know, maybe you're worried about how am I going to make ends meet, you know, maybe you've had to take an extra job, you know, maybe you have had to struggle a little bit more economically, you've had to pinch the purse or the penny a little bit more, as we say here in the US, pinching your pennies, right? Things like that. And so Spirit is acknowledging that hardship, you know, especially too with the Two of Wands here next to the Chariot reversed. It's almost like you want to make plans for the future, but life's so chaotic right now that you're just trying to stabilize the boat you're in right now before you're like, okay, I got to get to maybe more calm waters before I can decide, okay, what direction do I even want to go in? It's like, you know, being on a ship in the sea, you know, when you're in a storm, you're just trying to get out of the storm, and then you'll figure out what direction you want to go in. So maybe you've also been feeling a little bit more, what's the word? I don't want to say static. Kind of stuck in place maybe is the better way to put that. Feeling stuck in place, feeling a little held back because of this chaos. You're just trying to get the boat to calmer waters, metaphorically speaking, okay? But what is happy about this particular reading, the reason to smile, is I believe this is coming to an end for you, pile number 2s, okay? It could be through maybe you get a promotion at work. Maybe you get a better job that pays you more, okay? Maybe, you know, the economy, let's cross our fingers, everybody, together right now. Maybe the economy gets a little bit better. Things get more smooth, right? And, you know, the reason I say that is because, you know, not only do you have the 5 of Cups reversed here, which is moving past a time of hardship or grief, right? You also have the 6 of Cups reversed here, which, like I said, is about believing in the magic of the world again, like we did when we were children, okay? You know, same thing too with children don't really worry about the economy because they don't have to worry about, okay, where does the money come from? How am I going to make ends meet? They don't worry about that. They just think, well, mommy and daddy made me dinner and my tummy is full, right? That's the pleasure of childhood, is not having to worry about things like that. And so it being reversed in your reading here, pile number 2, is it's saying like this time of feeling like a jaded adult in terms of, okay, I just got to worry about the hardships. I just got to worry about making ends meet. It's like there's more time coming in the future of you being able to feel more carefree like that again, moving past that grief. Times of celebration with the 3 of Cups over here on the left, okay? You know, like I said, this can often mean social groups, okay? Maybe it's something, well, the reason why this nice time of more plenty is coming is because maybe you're working with a group on something. If that's the case, it seems like that'll work out just fine if you've been worrying about that, pile number 2s, okay? But in general, this is the card of celebrations, okay? This is the card of we're having a party. This is, you know, a bunch of bears dancing together, having a great time. I think those are berries. In fact, yeah, those are berries in their hands, or their paws. They even kind of look like the blackthorn berries. They're dark. What berries are those? Are those grapes? They kind of look like blackthorns, actually. I'm sorry, you probably can't see it on camera, but they do have berries in their paws, okay? They're celebrating the plenty, okay? You know, and oftentimes we think of, you know, we associate celebration with harvest. We celebrate with, you know, I mean, that's where wine and alcohol comes from, or at least like wine does, you know, fermented grapes into wine, right? Things like that. So the time of celebration is coming, pile number 2s, okay? The grief will be over. There'll be more time for carefreeness, more freedom, not feeling so pressured by adult life in terms of the economy, right? And then to reigning in that chaos with the Chariot reversed here. And the 2 of Spells is being able to make plans for the future, okay? Because right now it seems like maybe you're having to decide between, you know, especially when times get tough, pile number 2, sometimes you even have to decide between necessities, okay? You know, Like maybe, you know, this month you're deciding, well, do I buy better clothes because a lot of mine are getting kind of ratty, or do I buy food? Okay. With this economy, that's probably very common right now. Okay. I've heard about it, right? And all of us are feeling that pinch. So in the future, that will change for you. Okay. Your next reason to smile is it seems like it's on the way. After this time of darkness, you're going to find that pearl at the bottom of this dark ocean, metaphorically speaking. Okay. And then two, the biggest comfort of this reading here is the renewal of peace. Okay. The renewal of peace. You can rest. So if you've been going through a really hard time right now, pile number twos, it could even mean emotionally too, but I think for most of you, this feels more like because of the abundance of cards that talk about like material security, okay? If you've been going through a really hard time right now, pile number two is in terms of material security, in terms of how do I make ends meet? Am I going to make it through this month? Am I going to, you know, insert, you know, worry here? That's coming to an end, okay? And that's your next reason to smile, all right? There'll be more peace. There'll be more carefree times, okay? Like I said, cross your fingers. That means the economy is getting better for all of us, right? Across the entire world. Yes. And they're just talking about here with the Bobcat and Blackthorn patience. Okay. It's just a little bit of a wait still, which I know is difficult because especially when times are hard and you're even maybe having to decide between necessities like food and clothing and housing, you know, that's just how it is nowadays for a lot of us, right? Like it's hard to have to be told, okay, you just need to be patient because you've already probably been pretty damn patient. You're like, I've already been struggling, universe. Can you send something nice my way, right? And what they're saying is, yes, that celebration is coming. That grief is ending. Things are going to be just okay. It's just that the universe and the world itself needs to heal a little bit. Okay. There's just a little bit more shadow coming. And then afterwards, finally, the dawn will come. Because this is another thing. And I was just watching this the other day. And for those of you, I'm going to turn total nerd right now because I am a huge nerd, right? But there's a speech in the Lord of the Rings movies that I really absolutely love, that is fantastic about weathering through times of hardship, right? And those of you who have seen The Lord of the Rings, you probably already know it's from the second movie, I believe it's The Two Towers, right? And it's when Sam Wise, he's the deuteragonist, the secondary protagonist to Frodo Baggins, right? He talks about there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. For those of you who watched the movie, you know what I'm talking about. I will put a link to it next to your pile in the description today, pile number twos, so you can view that clip. You know, and like I said, it's funny, I was watching that just last night, and then today this reading comes up, and I'm like, that is perfect for this reading, right? And the reason why it hits so hard is because, once again, I'm going to nerd out a little bit, but I'm saying this because I believe this is fruitful for your reading today, pile number twos. The reason why that particular clip or that message is so important is because Tolkien is the author of The Lord of the Rings, right? And he was a veteran of World War I and he lived through World War II, okay? And he lived through very hard times, as we know. The World Wars were not so sunshine and rainbows, of course. Kind of a dark shadow on the face of human history, both of them. So... But what he talked about in that message, you know, and especially as Peter Jackson adapted the movies, right? What's talked about in that message is, you know, the darkness also passes, okay? The shadow too shall pass. And light will always have its day. It's almost like that symbolism of the dawn always coming after the night, okay? So I will link that down below because it is a beautiful speech. I love that. It's probably my favorite movie scene, and it's very pertinent, relatable to your reading today. I feel pile number twos. You know, maybe hearing a little bit of Samwise Gamgee in your life will help in this time of hardship, knowing that this darkness will too pass, okay? And the sun will shine out the clearer, as he says in the speech, so... Yes, I will link that. I'm going to make a note right now for that. 1 second, pile number twos. Link to Sam. Sorry, I'm writing my notebook here off screen. Okay, yes, so... Yes, that's for you, pile number twos. I also want to post some cards of advice on kind of moving through this time of hardship before that light comes. Because yes, the light is coming, and it's being reassured to you through spirit. That's your reason to smile. Is you will get that maple syrup. You will have that abundant harvest, okay? You will have that renewal of peace, but sometimes, you know, Tarot 2 is about how do I weather through the hard times before the dawn comes, right? How do I pass through these shadows? Okay. So, Spirit, for my lovely pile number 2s, in this time of hardship for them, on the way to the assured light, metaphorically speaking, could you give me 3 cards of advice for them on how to best weather this storm, I guess we should say? 3 cards, please. But yeah, so a lot of the lessons Tolkien learned from, you know, being, oh, well, that one for sure, that Tolkien learned from being in the trenches of World War I and living through World War II, he imbued a lot of that in his writings, so yes, okay. 2 and 3. It's actually funny, I'm also using, you know, a fantasy deck today. Alright, advice for you, pile number 2s. Okay, number 1, we have the 10 of Cups reversed. Okay, usually this is the card of emotional happily ever after. Reversed, it's like we're not quite there yet. Maybe we're feeling like it's not within our grasp. Okay, so I think that's reflecting kind of how you're feeling right now, pile number 2s. Alright. And then we have this is the devil, alright, the liar in this particular deck. The great thing, though, is that it's reversed, okay? And what the devil means reversed is breaking the chains that are holding us back. Because the devil in tarot is the thing that binds us. The devil is the cage that we're in, okay? The bars of our cage. Reversed, though, it's breaking the chains, breaking the cage, and being free again, okay? And then your last card here is the Weaver, or the Queen of Challenges, which is Swords. So the Queen of Swords reversed, okay? She is the internal mastery of logic, communication, thought, that type of thing, associated with the element of air, because it's swords. Reversed, she is asking for more of that logic, more of that speaking out, okay? So, putting this all together in pieces of advice for you on the way to the light, this last stretch of darkness before the dawn, pile number 2 is okay. They're acknowledging with that 10 of Cups reversed, yes, times are really hard right now, we understand that, okay? But the reassurance here is the chains will be broken, the things holding you back will be broken with the devil reversed, okay? And as a piece of advice in the interim here, you know, it's funny too, because, you know, even in this particular deck, the challenges are associated with winter. And we associate winter with times of hardship because it's, you know, things are not fruitful. You know, especially when we used to live in societies that were a lot more dependent on the change of the seasons, right? But this queen is living through and surviving and doing really well in this time of hardship. This is her domain, is winter, right? Okay. This is assuring you, I think, pile number 2 is that you're strong enough to weather through this hard time. Spirit's acknowledging that. Okay. And so they want you to really lean on the pride of how resistant and resilient and tough you are. And knowing that you can get through it in this time, because there's a lot of things to be proud about making do with a lot less. All right, do we want to have to do that? No, of course not. You know, we all want to have abundance. We all want to have plenty. We all want to feel safe and secure materially, right? But unfortunately in life, just as the wheel of fate turns, there are times of hardship, okay? But there's a lot of strength in weathering through that, okay? And specifically with the Queen of Swords reversed, it's asking for, you know, because she's like the logic suit, air, communication, right? Maybe I'm almost intuitively hearing something about reaching out for help more, because it is the card of communication, right? Not only communicating with yourself, because like it is, you know, the queens are like internal energy, right? But communicating with others. I don't know if maybe there's some sort of way you could kind of group together with friends or family to help weather through this hard time. Like maybe they're having a hard time too. Especially earlier you had the 3 of Cups, and I'm just reminded of, my short story about my own family. My grandparents lived through the Great Depression when they were children, right? They lived through the Great Depression, and then right after it was World War II here in the US. And at that time, what their parents used to do, they remembered as children, was they had like ration coupons basically. And so some families needed more than others. So what they would do is they would exchange ration coupons, I believe is what they were called. So like, let's say one family needed more sugar than the other, or one family needed more flour than the other, okay? And then they would say to each other, okay, well, I have more of this, and you have more of what I need in terms of ration coupons. Let's exchange, or let's rely on each other. Do you have a cup of sugar I can borrow? Things like that. So rely more on community when you can, pile number twos. Rely more on your family unit when you can. Because a lot of times getting through times of struggle relies on humanity at its best in terms of reaching a hand out to each other and lifting each other up, okay? Yes, like my grandparents' example. They got through those hard times through community, okay? Or reach out and help others where you're able to, okay? Maybe even if not in terms of material security, maybe you can't help with that because you're struggling with that a little bit yourself right now, but maybe, you can reach out and say to someone, hey, maybe I can watch your kids while, you go to work that day, or, hey, you can borrow my car because your car crapped out, things like that, that just come up. And weathering through it together, reaching out to other people, being more willing to speak about your hardship, will help you weather through this last glimpse of darkness before the light comes and more abundance comes your way and the hardship is over, okay? And on top of that, too, there's a benefit in reaching out and helping each other because it strengthens bonds, okay? One of the greatest glues of relationships is weathering through hardship together, okay? Because what it says to other people is, I am reliable. You can rely on me. I can rely on you. We've been through a hard time together, and that can create bonds of friendship and bonds of family that last a lifetime. So there's almost a benefit too in the darkness. There's that little pearl at the bottom of the dark ocean of, understanding where your relationships lie and forging greater connections with other people. Okay, maybe to even if you're in a relationship right now and maybe your partner is weathering through this hardship with you too, especially with the 10 of Cups reversed, because sometimes 10 of Cups can mean emotional fulfillment in terms of a relationship, right? Like we see, two unicorns having a grand old time with their little baby unicorn down here, right? It's a couple. It too can strengthen the bond of your relationship, okay? Because you've weathered through that together and you know that you can rely on each other. So that's the little silver lining too, is understanding, I guess the best way to put it is, in times of darkness, even the smallest glimpses of light, like reaching a hand out to someone else, can seem 10 times brighter than they would be if it was in times of light, okay? I guess I'm just talking about like the stark contrast of just even little tiny ways of helping, little tiny glimpses of light stand out that much more when it's hard than when it's easy, okay? So let's see. So to summarize your reading, pile number 2 is, okay, yes, there's been hardship, okay, but times of celebration are coming. Light is coming after the dark. There's plenty, there's peace, there's structure and control coming, okay? There'll be a time in the future where you can be more carefree, okay? You'll be able to plan more for the future instead of just feeling like you have to maintain the status quo and just survive right now, okay? The chains will be broken, the cage will be broken, and happier times are on the way. It's just on the way there. Rely on each other as much as you can, okay? And just know that this too shall pass, okay? So, pile number 2s, I hope that reading was helpful for you. I'm super excited for you. I'm happy that this time of darkness seems to be coming to an end for you, okay? I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading, okay? Bye. Hello there, my lovely pile number 3s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today on the topic of your next reason to smile. As you recall, the card used to pick your pile was number 37, Focus on the Light. And as always, I like to discuss a little bit about what your pile leader means before we move on to your other cards, just for some context for you. So, this particular card in the Sacred Rebels Oracle talks about when we move through life, the best way to guide ourselves is to focus on purity of intention, okay? Focus on the light. So the example this particular deck uses is, like let's say you're creating a business and, some people might create a business because they want money, 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 okay? This card is encouraging more towards the purity of intention with, like, say, the business example of, yes, you want to make money, but maybe the purpose of making that money is reinvesting it in charity, reinvesting it in a more spirit-aligned mission, okay? And actually helping your customers or helping the people that you work with, things like that. Purity of intention, right? So we'll set your pile leader over here to the left next to the pine cone as always. We'll tuck that one right there. And then we have your oracle cards already drew, and then on camera I want to draw your tarot cards for you. So Spirit, for my lovely pile number 3s, could you talk more about 5 cards, please? I think I already said. What's their next reason to smile? What's the context leading up to this reading? And then what is the actual reason to smile? Okay. 5 cards, please. Thank you. Okay, let's see what stands out for sure. That one. Right there. 2, 3. 4 right there. And 5. Okay, pile 3s. Your next reason to smile. Let's look at your oracle cards first. So first up we have the Folklore Oracle. I'm going to adjust that a bit. We received for you the Elk. Okay, and in this particular deck, the Elk card is all about diligence, okay? This is the card of still having work to do, but having the manner, the elegance, the poise, the diligence, like it says in the title, to get through and complete those goals. Also, maybe having a lot of different responsibilities at once. You know, having to balance different decisions appropriately and having the strength to be able to do that, okay? So that's what your Elk card means, diligence. Doing your due diligence, all right? Which in tandem with your pile leader, like we said, focusing purity of intention. Like doing your due diligence, interesting. We'll see how that comes out with the other cards. But we have the Woodland Wardens. This is the duck and the chrysanthemum you received, which means luck, okay? Fantastic card to get, especially in this type of reading where we're focusing on what's your next reason to smile. Luck coming your way. All right, fantastic. And then your Nature's Whispers, you received Ideal Course of Action number 37. Okay, which is funny, you also got number 37 here with your pile leader. Maybe a little bit of a synchronous number to keep an eye out for. Synchronicity, number 37, okay. Ideal Course of Action is all about what's the best way to go about this, right? How do I move forward? And in tandem with your pile leader and your Elk card, it seems like the theme coming out here is there's something you're going about doing, okay? And, or maybe the company you work for, and you're wondering about, is this really the right way to go, okay? Are we really doing our due diligence here? Am I doing my due diligence here, okay? What's the kernel of purity of intention at the bottom of all these actions we're taking, okay? Things like that. And then, of course, we have luck here with, like I said, the duck and chrysanthemum. So if this has been related to a worry you've had recently, it seems like there's luck coming in this area, but we'll see what your tarot cards say before I get too far in the weeds there. So first tarot card today is, we have the Keeper of Boons reversed. This is the King of Pentacles reversed, okay? This is the card of feeling like a lack of material security in our external life, okay? So money, business. Could mean there's some hard times that have been happening at the business that you're at or in your own life, okay? Maybe that's where this question of, is this the ideal course of action? Are we doing our due diligence is coming from? Because maybe there's been some inclination towards, let's focus on the money because, like I said with pile number 2 is, you know, the economy is not so great for everyone right now. Something along those lines. We'll talk about more what your other cards say. Number 2, we have the 6 of Challenges. Okay, 6 of Swords. We have a woman that is, she's been a little hassled. There's some wolves that have chased her up a tree, but thank God she made it away, right? She's safe. She has that kind of 1,000-yard stare look in her eye. I always love this card because of the particular depiction. A 6 of Swords means moving on physically to things that are more secure or better for us. Away from wolves. I don't know if you left a crappy job recently, pile number 3s, or you're considering leaving a crappy job. All right, and then card number 3 is the Keeper of Visions. This is the King of Cups. This is I manifest or I express my emotions externally in a positive, healthy manner. That's kind of what that means. Someone secure with their emotions and is not afraid to display them in a mature way. All right. Card number 4, we have the Two of Boons, Two of Pentacles reversed. Okay. Feeling like there's a lack of balance, maybe a lack of balance in finances. Could be just a lack of balance in terms of I've been juggling a lot and I feel overwhelmed. Okay. Just like this person is walking across the bridge, carrying this heavy load, trying to balance it, make sure it doesn't fall. Also, there's a troll underneath the bridge that that doesn't help. Carrying the load is hard enough, but when there's a troll lurking in the dark, it makes it that much harder. We don't want to get eaten, right? Okay. And then we have the Three of Cups. Groups, social settings, gatherings can mean celebrations sometimes, but I think with this particular reading, what's been coming out so far, I would see the context is more this is a group setting. We're talking about a social group, could be a work group, right? So pile number 3 is, well, first I'm going to adjust my chair. Sorry if you hear squeaky noises as I move a little bit taller, because I always say in my videos I'm short, and so I have to like sit on my feet to actually like reach the cards better. And I'm going to take a drink 1 second. Okay, pile 3s. Okay. So we'll talk about your reason to smile in a second, but I want to move on first to what's the context leading up to this reading. Maybe kind of even why you came to this reading. Maybe the thing that's been frustrating you that made you click on the video like, hey, I want a reason to smile because this thing has been a pain in my butt. So the context leading up to this reading. Okay. I feel like intuitively based on the cards that came out, there's been a situation where what's the best way to put it? I think for most of you, this is your job or your company that you work for, if you work for a company that's not your own, where there's been some penny pinching, especially with the King of Pentacles reversed here. There has been questions about maybe ethics at this particular company. Okay, especially because like focus on the light is about what's the purity of intention in what we're doing. Okay, are we doing what we're doing for money, or are we doing what we're doing because it's the right thing to do? Okay, and that's a struggle a lot of businesses have, right? Because human nature likes to we like money, right? Unfortunately, yes. So and the same thing too with elk is like due diligence, doing things the right way, having to juggle a lot too with the Two of Pentacles in tandem with the elk. Especially reversed here, as I feel like I'm a little bit overwhelmed. I don't know if I could juggle this, right? And then too with the Three of Visions being like a group setting, okay? So maybe you've been asking, okay, what the heck is the ideal course of action here, especially with your Nature's Whispers? How do I move forward, okay? Is this the right place for me? Is this the right job for me? Or maybe even if it's your own business, you're wondering, okay, is what I'm doing still aligning with the purity of intention that I first set out with? Or am I just really struggling right now, maybe even because of the economy? It could be things out of your control, pile number 3 is okay. But I'm really struggling right now to maintain the purity of my intention in the face of a lack of material security or a threat of a lack of material security or money, I'll just say it that way, more simple that way. But, and so you're wondering, okay, 6 of Swords, do I move on? Am I in a den of wolves and do I need to run up the tree and get to higher water or safer land from the water, away from the wolf pack that wants to eat me? It's almost like, I don't know if maybe you might be like the woman in this picture with the 1,000-yard stare of like, oh crap, I feel like I'm surrounded by danger and I need to get out of here. Things like that. Just a feeling of, to summarize, it's like a feeling of I can't balance this. I feel like I need to move on. This is not the best place for me. And is what I'm doing really aligned with what the purity of my intentions? Is this really the best way to go about this? That's the context coming up to this reading, pile number 3. Okay. The reason to smile, though, is number 1, you got the duck and chrysanthemum, which means luck. Okay. So if you've been wondering if things are going to go downhill, if you're wondering, like, you're pretty much at the point of maybe I should leave this place, but I'm not sure if I should leave because, things are kind of not the best right now in the economy. Would it be dumb of me to leave this job and try to find something else? Okay. Or would it be dumb of me to shut down, if this is your own business and try something different? The positive thing, the reason to smile is luck is on your side, okay? Whatever it is you've been considering that will lighten this load and maybe align you more with the purity of your intentions, okay? Yeah, not only is luck on your side too, but with the elk being the card of diligence, that's also the card that tells you that you have what it takes to make it through, okay? You have the ability to juggle these decisions, even maybe you feel like you won't be able to handle it with that Two of Pentacles reversed, but with the elk it means that you do, okay? You have what it takes, you have what you need, okay? It's just taking that leap of faith a little bit and trusting in the luck of the universe being on your side to get you to someplace better, okay? Also too, with the King of Cups here, it almost feels like it's like you're not even, maybe you don't even feel like emotionally aligned with what you're doing, because he is like the mastery of emotions and manifesting them in a healthy way externally from, you know, how we display our emotions to others, or maybe even the place that you're at. It almost feels like you can't express your emotions. Like I've worked at places before where if you had your own opinion, you just had to keep it mum because either, you know, you were low on the hierarchy and so no one cared about your opinion, which really sucks, but there are companies out there like that. I've experienced it myself. So with jobs that I've had in the past, right? Or maybe it's like you feel like you can't even, like your ideas aren't even listened to, or you feel like no one cares about your emotions here. It's just money, 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 money. That's all they care about is grinding the crap out of not only the customers, but also the employees to get the biggest bang for their buck, especially right now in times of hardship with the economy. That King of Pentacles reversed here in the beginning, right? So, and that's the unfortunate thing is that, you know, depending on the company that you're at or the business that you're in, you know, a lot of times we can get swayed away from the path of light, swayed away from the path of spirit that says, okay, well, let's do the most good to, okay, how can I squeeze the most, you know, blood, sweat, and tears out of my customers and my employees, okay? Unfortunately, that's just how some companies work. That would be a toxic company, in my opinion, but I'm sure we've all been in a company before that worked like that, right? Things like that. And so, yeah, it's like you're wondering, do I leave? But luck is on your side, pile number 3. So if you were to decide to move from this job, I would say this is pretty much a go-ahead from spirit to start looking for a new job that maybe is more aligned with what you actually want to do or achieve. Or a company that's a little bit less toxic. You know, of course, sometimes you can't even know until you get there if they're toxic or not. Sometimes the cultural problems at a company don't even peak out until a few months into the job. But yeah, I would say, you know, your reason to smile is if you've decided to leave and find something new, things will go pretty well for you if you take that step, okay? Find something that aligns with you more emotionally, okay? Find something that allows you more work-life balance with that Two of Pentacles reversed, okay? Something with a more happy, positive, celebratory, let's pat each other on the back, talk your culture instead of money, 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 money culture, right? Yes, so luck's on your side. Or maybe even you're considering moving on to your own business, pile number 3s, in which case, you know, maybe what's fueling some of that frustration that makes you want to leave and start your own is that purity of intention, that feeling of, you know, hey, this company I worked for, yes, technically it's in the industry that I care about, that I'm skilled in, but they're not doing things the right way in terms of ethics. And so I'm going to start my own business. And I'm going to focus on the light, like your pile leader says here. I'm going to do my due diligence, right? And I'm going to create a company that's better than the one that I left, both for the customers and for the employees, okay? Because a lot of times what can fuel us to make decisions like that is being frustrated with where we are. So making sure that the environment where we go, if we're in control of it, lacks those things that causes frustration or grief, right? Yes, so in which case, if it is, you're starting your own business, pile number 3s, I think you'll be successful. It's a great idea, especially with luck here being on your side with the duck and chrysanthemum. And you have the leadership qualities that you need with the elk here of diligence, being able to juggle different decisions, being able to juggle those, I guess, juggle management enough and juggle business sense enough to be successful, if that's your worry. Okay, pile number 3. So let's see if there's anything else I want to expand upon before I do want to move to 3 different cards of advice on your path forward to this reason to smile. Let's Let's see if there's any other messages that intuitively pop out here for you, pile 3s. Yeah, it's like moving from... It just feels like where you are right now or where you just left, if you've already kind of moved past this place, pile number 3s. Like, it's not good for you mentally and it's not good for you emotionally either, wherever this place was, okay? It's just like the only focus is just material security wherever this is. And you're like, okay, but what about the human element? Okay, what about the workers that are overworked and stressed and they feel like they're not listened to? Okay. Yeah. Because a lot of the success of a business, in my opinion, is based on the cohesion and the happiness of the workers. And I feel like a lot of businesses just don't focus on that enough, especially nowadays. You know, it's not like in my grandparents' era where, you know, you worked a job for 40 years and you stayed there and then they give you a really nice pension afterwards, you know, and a pat on the back. And you know, you made buddies at work that were like lifelong friends. At least that's what my grandparents' experience was. Nowadays, it's, you know, you don't get a pension. At least at most companies. I don't think I've even heard of any companies that do that anymore, but maybe in different countries it's different. You know, and most of the time when you get promoted or you move up or you get a raise, it's when you leave to a different job where they hire you at a higher salary. Okay. Loyalty just isn't really valued anymore in terms of companies. I mean, well, companies will say, well, a lot of people keep leaving my company, but then they don't do enough to actually entice people to stay. You know, they don't fix their cultures. They don't remove the toxicity from their work culture, okay? They don't give people enough incentive to want to stay there, right? And so, you know, it's kind of a dog-eat-dog world a little bit sometimes, you know? And so that's what I'm feeling with you, pile number 3, is that you've been kind of in a dog-eat-dog environment and you want to move to, okay, let's have a little bit more of a cohesive, let's support each other environment rather than, okay, you know, let's stab each other in the back and make everyone stressed and worried and emotionally unhappy, okay, for the sake of money, you know. That's the kind of feeling I'm getting from this reading, okay. Anyways, okay, so let's pull 3 cards of advice for you on this path forward. Pile number 3 is this reason to smile, is that being able to move beyond this place of toxicity, this place of stress, right? So 3 cards of advice, Spirit, please, if you would, for pile number 3 is about moving on from this place, okay. 3 cards, yes. Thank you. Three cards of advice for my lovely pile 3s. Okay, 1. Definitely feel that one. And then I'm going to pick that one, 3. Moving on from Toxic City. Okay. We have, first up, the Forest Lord, which is the Emperor reversed, okay? The Emperor reversed is all about feeling like a lack of power, a lack of control, a lack of structure. It's the masculine energy in the negative, okay? Sometimes it can mean asking in reverse, asking for more masculine energy in something, okay? More authority, more control, more power, right? Things like that, okay? Set that down here. We'll talk about more of that in a second. Number 2, the Child or the Page of Spells, which is Wands. The Page of Wands, okay? Exploring our passions, exploring what creates a spark in us, okay? Exploring our willpower. I'm really feeling that this move for you, pile number 3s, is a really crucial part of your life path. Intuitively, that's what I'm being told. Because it's opening up an avenue for you to explore ideas that you've had for a long while. And part of your lesson is learning that there's value in those ideas, okay? Learning how to explore those ideas, all right? Because, yeah, the pages are like apprentices. Like, they're just learning. So it's like a learning experience, right? And then last but not least, we have the Council of Animals, which is Judgment reversed, okay? Okay, I believe that's Judgment. Actually, I'm really sorry. Every time this card comes up when I use this deck, I'm like, which one is this? I'm pretty sure it's Judgment. I'm going to look at the book for just 1 second. Forgive me. I try not to look at the books as much as I can because I know tarot, but sometimes with particular tarot decks, they have, like, different sayings. Like, for example, in this deck, spells is wands, so let's see, I'm pretty sure that's Judgment. Yes, this is Judgment. I was right. Okay. Council of Animals is Judgment. Forgive that little side quest we had of, okay, what the heck card is that? Judgment, number 20. Okay. Judgment reversed is all about, okay, so upright Judgment is about spiritually moving forward in terms of lessons, okay? rising to a higher level or a higher plane of things. Reversed, it's feeling like we're not able to move into a higher plane or move into an area of higher spiritual alignment, I guess is another way to put that, especially in tandem with the reading we've had so far for you, pile number 3s, okay? So putting this all together in terms of advice for you on this path towards this place of less toxicity, of higher ethics, of a place that lets you focus on the light more, like your pile leader says, okay? I mean, not only are you assured luck in this venture, right, but like I said with the Page of Wands, it's almost like this is important. This move that you're considering, or maybe you just took the first step on, is important to your soul in terms of this is a way for you to explore your willpower and your creativity, okay? Especially being next to the Emperor reversed. The Emperor is all about, like I said, that masculine energy of control and authority and power, and having power over our environment around us, and it's very much a leadership card. And so right now I feel like you have a lot of inherent leadership qualities, management qualities, business sense, I guess is another way to put that, pile number 3s. But where you're at right now, or maybe where you just left, wasn't conducive to actually letting you explore that willpower and that capacity for positive leadership, okay? And so by you leaving to better pastures, pile number 3s, or maybe in creating your own pasture in terms of maybe you're making your own business, right? That will allow you to step into that masculine energy more with the Emperor reversed, okay? It'll allow you to nurture more of your leadership qualities that I think you already have them inherently. It's just that maybe where you're at right now has made you feel like you don't have it, or you haven't had the opportunity. And so by leaving, it's like creating that opportunity, that fertile soil for growing that part of your soul and part of your skill set, okay? And then too, like with the Judgment card reversed, that just reminds me a lot of like focus on the light. Right now where you're at, or where you just left, is not a place of higher spiritual attunement in terms of service to humanity, or, you know, how it aligns to your ethics, okay? What's, you know, you might have even, while you're working for this previous company or where you were at before, you know, you might have often asked yourself, okay, is what I'm doing in terms of the work I provide to this company, is this actually helping humanity, or is this actually hurting humanity, okay? And so where you're going will flip that Judgment reversed to upright and bring you to a path that lets you make money, yes, because we all need money, we need physical security, that's just how our world works, right? You know, green is the lifeblood of the world. But where you're going will allow you to make that money in a way where ethics aren't in question, because it is possible. It is possible to make money and still be a good human, okay? It is possible to make money and still be aligned in service to humanity, you know, and with your own spirit, okay? It's possible. It's just that, you know, unfortunately, sometimes, you know, we have to have the courage to move to a place where we can actually sow those seeds of better ethics, of a company that works better, of a place that's better for people. Like, we have to actually move to greener pastures, like that Six of Swords, about moving physically away from things that are dangerous to us, having that courage before we can do that, okay? So basically your advice is to have courage, pile number 3s, have courage, be willing to invest in the inherent leadership value and qualities that you have, okay? Be willing to appreciate your masculine energy side more, okay, with that Emperor reversed, right? Be willing to step into authority, to step into leadership, to be a trailblazer, be a pioneer a little bit, okay? And make the world a better place at the same time. Because I feel like if I were to read your soul right now, pile number 3s, I almost get the sense that you're the type of soul where you can't just survive on the ideal of making money, okay? It's like you have to, if it's not something in tune with your spirit and like humanitarian values and philanthropic values, it's like it just doesn't work for you, is kind of the feeling I'm getting from this reading for you, pile number 3s, okay? So go where you can let that spirit thrive, because we really do need a lot more people like you in the world that do actually care about the humanity of not only customers, but also the workers at companies, you know? I mean, even if you do make your own company, you might even explore things like, you know, maybe giving more time off, okay, maybe more benefits for workers, maybe aligning more with how companies used to be, like I was talking about my grandparents' generation, where, you know, it was They treated you well. They gave you more time off. They gave you a pension, things like that. Caring about the human element of things, because it is possible. It's just that some of us have to be brave enough to step out of the paradigm of what is to make room for a paradigm of what could be better in the future, okay? And I feel like Spirit is saying you have those qualities, pile number 3, so you can be that trailblazer for humanity. And of course, there are companies out there that already exist that do these things, but we could always, and I'm 100% sure that 100% of you will agree with this, we could always use more ethical, philanthropic people in the world, okay? There's never enough. So yes, so to summarize, your next reason to smile, pile number 3 is if you're considering a move of some sort to someplace better, luck is on your side and you have the skills and the qualities that you need to be successful, okay? That's your reason to smile, okay? Also, just better mental and emotional health is another feeling I'm getting off of this reading, should you make this move, in which I'm saying Spirit is highly encouraging you to, okay? You know how to play it safe. You know how to do it the right way. You know how to make something more spiritually aligned, more humanity aligned, okay? So, as always, I hope that reading was helpful for you, my lovely pile number 3s. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading, okay?